Good morning. So today I want to talk about something that I've been mentioning in previous posts about timeline jumping, psycho-cybernetics, and the law of attraction, as well as the quantum realm. So I started to timeline jump about 20 years ago, before I even knew what timeline jumping was. And what I did was I had read The Secret, which a lot of people have read The Secret, and it's kind of like the beginning, or like the childlike stages of the law of attraction. It's a little, fluffy, feel good. And that kind of pulled me into other things that then led me to the book of Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting. Now, when I read that book 20 years ago, that is what I kind of credit to changing my life and timeline jumping, even though I didn't realize that's what I was doing at that time. And so basically it kind of like teaches you how to create your own reality through thoughts and through positive thinking and changing and rewiring your brain and your mindset, which is actually psycho-cybernetics, which we'll get into that in a little bit. And so I read this book, and at this time I was a dancer at a gentleman's club, and I realized I'm going to be vulnerable and very transparent here by letting people know about my past. But I like my life, and I love who I am, and I wouldn't be who I am today without it. And I'm not looking for anybody's approval on that. So anyway, I was a dancer at the time, and I wanted to go back to college, and I needed to make a certain amount of money. And at that time, I was pretty broke and not living in a great place, and just really trying. I just went through a really bad breakup. I was really young. I was like 23, 24 years old. And I read that book, and it changed everything. So I signed up for school, and I was going to start in October, and it was July, and I wanted to make enough money to pay all my bills and have enough money saved to pay for my first quarter of school. This is so funny to me now that I look back on it. And it was $6,000 for school, right? And from July to October, when I started school, after reading this book, I made $90,000. And it was totally my mindset. I read that book, and I was like, okay, well, I don't know if this is real or not. I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm just going to throw myself into it. I'm not a typical Gemini. Geminis usually start shit and they don't finish it. Not me. When I start something, I put my all into it. Balls to the walls, just go for it. And that's what I did. And I worked 6 days a week, and I worked my ass off. And every day I went to work, I was like, tonight I'm gonna make $1,000. And I would make $1,000 or more. And I saved all of my money. And obviously I put it towards money, and I had a job where isn't a typical job where I could make that kind of money. And that's what I did. And so we're going to kind of fast forward a little bit now to more current times. That was just the first time I ever experienced that I could create my own reality off of my own thinking. So I didn't really think a lot about it back then. I just knew that I could create, and that I was really good at, because I was not the best looking girl there. I was not the best, I couldn't even dance at that time. This was very baby stages of my life, of my career. And I just believed it to be true. And so it was. And later, about 4 years ago, I got really, really sick, and doctors couldn't figure out what it was. And I was in the hospital nonstop, and I lost 89 pounds. And I was convinced I was going to die. I was sure of it. And my friends and family, even though a lot of them didn't say it at the time, they thought so too. And I got into this mindset that I had to rewire my brain, because I was living in so much fear. And there was other things that happened that day, but I will, I'll talk about that, or at that time, but I'll talk about those later, that really changed my life. But what I did was, about a year and a half ago, I learned about Cybernetics, and I decided to read that book. And I didn't tell anybody that I was reading that book, and I just decided, like, I'm just gonna try this. At this time, I could only eat like maybe 10 foods, and like my goal was 20 foods. And so I decided that I was going to read this book and like really apply it to my life, and just like once again like go all in. And right after I finished that book, the universe, like right on time, shows up, and a girlfriend of mine messages me, and she's like, hey, have you ever heard of Joe Dispenza? Like, I think you'd really be into him. He talks about like Cybernetics. Have you heard of it? And I was like, oh, this is so weird. And so a friend of hers had spent a ton of money getting like all of these videos in this workshop, and she sent them to me. And it was very extensive. It was like an hour to 2 hours a day, and I threw myself in, and I was like doing this, and I believe, like, I can't remember, like, don't quote me on this. It's like trying to put your mind in, I think it's beta state, where it's like between sleep and awake. It's like theta, beta, like there's different realms of the mind. And so you put your mind into this state, and then you visualize your reality, and you call your reality in, you call in the life that you want to create. And this is timeline jumping, although I didn't know this was timeline jumping once again. And so I just kept envisioning myself like eating like these really healthy foods, and these foods that were good for me and made my body feel good. And I would visualize myself eating out. And I did this for like 3 months, I believe. And all of last year, I got back like 20 additional foods. So now I can eat like 30 foods. And last weekend was the first time I ever ate out in like 4 years. And so I know that I was creating my own reality. I was like choosing a timeline. I've never done this with love. So, and the reason is because I don't believe in manipulating energy. I believe in manifesting energy. And I believe that we've all like have free will. And so to manifest something when somebody else has their own free will is kind of counterproductive in my opinion. But if you're going to try it with love, and you want to just visualize the type of relationship you want, or create the love that you want, which is kind of like what I'm doing now. It's just like, I'm not envisioning a partner. I'm just envisioning like how it feels, and like circumstances, and creating what it would feel like to be in that, I guess. And I don't, the whole free will thing, the jury's still out on that, because I used to like really feel like free will was a thing, and now I'm feeling like it's more like destiny and fate. And so I don't know if there's some kind of shift going on there or what, but there's obviously a lot of energy shifts going on right now. So I know I talk really fast when I'm channeling, so I apologize. I'm kind of jumping all over the place. So the book Cybernetics, I want to talk on this really quick. That is a book that basically this doctor who was a plastic surgeon, he wrote this book because he would have these clients that would come in, and they would have plastic surgery, and they would reconstruct themselves, but they wouldn't be happy. They weren't feeling it. They would still see their old self, right? And he then realized, like, if people were in like a car accident, would have like a really bad scar, and he would fix that, they would be very happy and living like a full life, and so happy because they didn't grow up with that unworthiness, right? And so other people who grew up feeling like this unworthiness, that's a belief system. Like, he realized it's like a belief system that you have to rewire your brain, you have to redo things, which is also like what Joe Dispenza does. And so, my advice to you, if you haven't read any of these books, Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting. It's a great book. Like I said, I read it like 20 years ago though. And I also had like the CDs and stuff, so I would listen to it a lot. And then Cybernetics, I think you can actually find it on YouTube for free, and it's like 10 hours or something. But if you're not willing to invest 10 hours into your life, like I don't know what to tell you, because it's definitely worth it. But this plastic surgeon like figured out that it's a mind frequency thing. And I know that this video is a little bit longer, and I want to like shorten it up, but I just wanted to give you a couple of examples of what timeline jumping is. It's a belief system. It's like knowing that you're creating your own reality. It's like I'm leaving behind all the things that kept me small and kept my mind small, and I'm expanding that now. Like, I'm not going to limit myself. I'm going to expand it, and I'm going to visualize it, but I'm going to believe it. I have to feel it. And I know that I've talked about this before. So that being said, I hope this brings some clarity. We have the summer solstice coming up next week, as well as Mercury goes direct, and I believe that Jupiter and Neptune goes retrograde. I can't think of which one it is at this moment. I apologize, but it's about expansion, and it's actually feels like it's going to be a good thing. So my advice on all these energies, because I know it's been a very emotional time, is to continue to feel how you feel, and continue to call in and create the reality that you want to call in and create, because that's really like what this energy is about. You're grieving the old you, like you're letting go of your old belief systems. You're letting go of values and beliefs that don't resonate with who you now are, so that you can call in a higher calling and your higher self. And that's like the quantum realm. So I hope this kind of clears up some things. I also have one spot left on my summer solstice event, which it can be one 45-minute session for $55, or I could break it down to 2 of the 20 mini sessions for $30. Message me if you're interested. This will sell out. It's on Monday. I hope you all have a great day. Happy Friday. Have a good one.